Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Frustrated Grad podcast. I'm your host, Zach Hughes, the black dude with the fastest time on Ninja Warrior. And here's my co host, writer, movie fan.
You made it through the obstacle course or whatever the hell
Yeah, I got up the warp
it's
wall.
called.
And my co host, Tony Hoffman, ladies and gentlemen.
It's up.
How's your week, Tony?
Well, again, I had pretty much same old, same old. I tried to take advantage of the weather yesterday. Went to uh, went to one of those neighborhood fests that we have in the city
All
during
right.
the summer. The Belmont Sheffield Music Fest, which is
Okay.
pretty much just like any other street festival in Chicago with the cover bands and fucking little food booths and shit, but all the overpriced.
Was there like a farmer's market situation anywhere?
Of
All right.
course. So, like people selling their little trinkets and shirts and fucking. The mix was there. 101.9 mix.
Awesome.
Spin
Uh,
this wheel and you win the fucking cheap sunglasses or a fucking koozie.
or keychain or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't have like fidget spinners. That seems like it would be perfect time for that type of branding, like
Yeah.
the mix fidget spinners.
Yeah. When you're so irritated from listening to Eric and Cassie, you have
Yeah,
to spin to stop the anxiety.
spin to win. That I mean, it really would have tied in because you like spin this wheel and you could win this spinner. But some people aren't good with the marketing ideas like this
No,
guy
they
over here.
they gotta empty out the fucking
The
the
prize
marketing
closet.
closet.
Yeah.
Exactly, price closet. Like shit.
That's the best thing about like working or interning at a radio station when they just want to get rid of that stuff. It's just like, hey, you want this crap? It's
This
like, sure.
bullshit.
uh, I I need a fourth keychain hanging out of my pocket. Um, I just recently got a cool 3D printed keychain at work. Um,
Ah,
yeah. Um, yeah. This
what are
week
you?
was. Go ahead.
Are you revving up for Memorial Day? You got the barbecue, the grill out and shit.
I don't think I'll be doing all of that. I'm going to possibly go and buy some professionally made barbecue,
So
but
am I.
uh,
Mainly because I
that's
live in an
probably about it.
apartment, but
Yeah, I mean you can get one of those little grills and open your windows up. I'm sure that'd be a
I'm
an
lazy.
adventure for everyone above you with fire smoke detectors.
Fuck them.
Uh, but I'm probably buying some barbecue and
Where at?
remembering those who have been lost. There's a place around the corner from me called Kirk's Barbecue. It's really good. They have
Oh, nice.
like the best barbecue chicken I've gotten from a restaurant.
Cause
Uh,
that's where I'm trying to figure out like where to go. Cause I don't want to go to like fucking Jules and get their little
oh, the
barbecue.
ready-made barbecue. You
Exactly.
don't know
It
if it's just been made or it's
tastes
from
like shit.
yesterday.
Exactly.
uh, I mean, I've
I want
had
some.
some good hot food from Jewel, but it's not a go-to place, that's for sure.
I want something with like like mac and cheese and cornbread and like
Yeah.
all the fucking fixins.
Mm. Oh, you just made me think of the one thing I do get from uh, Jewel that I'll buy and just eat straight away. Have you ever had their like
Potato wedges.
not the wedges, but there's like this salad that just has everything in it and is like soaked in dressing. It's like a wet salad,
Wet
but
salad. Oh, I
yeah,
think I've probably seen it like in the little
yeah,
at the deli section and shit on the
yeah. It's
display.
like it's delicious, but it's just like I think it has like eggs and cheese and bacon and all
Mm.
that stuff in it, and it's just soaked in. I think it's ranch, or it might be something. It's something a little thinner than ranch, but yeah, I do like that too.
I recommend their Italian like sub sandwich, the little deli
Okay,
sandwiches that they have that are already made. They're surprisingly good.
yeah, I've looked at those a few times, but I always thought they were too expensive. It was like, oh, I can go to Subway for
I
this
can't pay
price.
$5.
Yeah, but enough about food. Uh, this week I've been continuing to work on my my community garden plot. I only have four little vegetables out there. I'm pretty
Garden
sure.
update.
Yeah, garden update on the Frustrated Grad podcast. I have a tomato plant that I don't know. It's kind of struggling, but it's a pretty thick plant, so I think it's still alive.
It got
Uh,
plenty of rain and water and shit.
yeah, but apparently it wasn't enough. It's like I watered him. I transplanted them. Like I went and bought all these like plants in pots from Home Depot, and I transplanted them, and they all looked fine when I put them in, and I did what the instructions said. I wet up the little pot, put them in, and then water 'em. It said water them vigorously. So I thought I put enough water on them all, and then it rained like soon after I put them in. But like the one plant I had that was like a bell pepper, I think that died very soon. Uh, all the other ones are looking okay. The one that's doing the best is this cilantro plant that I put out there. It just seems to grow like a weed, and birds seem to like it a lot too. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
the latest on
That
the
was your
frustrated garden.
Zach Gardens update.
Yeah,
Did
it,
you
it,
uh did you see Baywatch or any of
no,
the other new movies? The Pirates of the Caribbean
I've seen Alien.
shitty shit tub.
No, I went and saw Alien Covenant this past week on a
How
five
was
dollar
it?
Tuesday. Um, there's I haven't watched a lot of reviews for it, but the one review I did see by this YouTuber, I think her name is Alachia Queen. I pretty much agree with exactly how she looked at it. It's like if you like visuals in a movie, then this will be the number one movie for you. But if you like story, then you'll be sorely disappointed. So yeah, this it was like beautiful. Everything that I saw was just like I was attached to all the visuals, like even like bacterial effects, and you see somebody getting infected on a molecular level. And that stuff was all fascinating. But then, as time goes on and you get used to that stuff, uh, my eyelids started to get heavy. It's like, well, I don't really care what's going on here, because I guess this I haven't like it's been a long time since I saw the original Alien and Aliens movies, and
They've
I
been showing it on cable recently
okay.
because of the new movie.
Yeah, and I never saw Prometheus, but all I know about that is that
I never.
someone would
I,
have survived if they had run Serpentine. That's all I know about
it
that.
just it wasn't marketed at all as like an aliens
Yeah.
movie, and I think they ended up doing that sort of like retroactively, like trying to
Okay.
like incorporate it into the aliens universe.
Yeah,
And I guess
cause
this movie was like a response to all the people who complained that there wasn't enough, like there were no xenomorphs and all the other
okay.
shit. And,
Yeah, cause I know they were
yeah.
saying like this is like the connection between Prometheus and the Aliens franchise. So I don't know. So there were robots and aliens in this one, uh, and I enjoyed if this movie was shortened, I might have enjoyed it more because it's just like I enjoyed everything that was going on visually, but then after a while, it's just like, okay, this is there's not much more to the story. It was very
No.
thin. Like the whole thing is that they have all these people, colonists they call them, basically frozen humans, and they're transporting them to this other planet that has like it looks like a habitable planet, like Earth type planet.
Then they find out that they find bones and remains and shit, and
Well,
they find out.
this isn't even the planet they were targeting. It's just like there was some kind of solar flare, and like all the crew on the ship have been woken up because they're just supposed to be the ones guarding all these frozen people. So they get woken up and they have to repair the ship and everything, and then they see they get a distress signal, which I guess is sent by somebody from Prometheus, but they get it from this planet that looks like a habitable planet, but it's closer than the one that they've been assigned to go to. So they decide to break orders and go check out this planet because they don't want to go back into cryo sleep for 7 years. Like, well, this one's closer. Let's just go here. So that was a stupid decision in the first place because I'm sure whoever hired you guys to do this probably did a lot of research and they chose the planet for a reason. So then they go down there, get infected. Uh, for some reason, like they send their little I don't know, escape pods or whatever to the planet, and they keep the ship protecting all of the humans on, like up in orbit, and then
What happens at the end?
eventually they bring the aliens back onto the ship with everybody else. So everybody's gonna be infected. That's the moral of the story.
And like the girl lives, and the Danny McBride character lives, or some shit that I
Uh,
read
pr-
about.
Presumably, but that's not really guaranteed because it's a shady robot fellow
Because the
who may
Michael
have killed
Fassbender
them. Yeah,
character killed like his twin or whatever, and
yeah,
she finds out that she's the other evil guy, and the evil guy brings two eggs
yeah.
of,
It was a
and
good reveal that I saw coming like a half an hour
yeah, that's what I've
beforehand.
read.
So yeah, that's the review of Alien coming. I've been really slow on doing my YouTube review for it because I don't really care. I don't. I mean, I want the views, but like I don't really care to examine this movie very deeply. So maybe anybody who's watching this on my YouTube channel, take that as the review you'll get for a while. Maybe I'll do a more in depth review in my car because I don't feel like
I,
standing up and doing it.
I mentioned this like I think on like a Twitter post, like, boy, man, some real shitty movies out, man. I mean,
Yeah,
aside from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, man, you got the fucking with the King Arthur piece of shit, and you
yeah.
got the fucking Baywatch, and the
I mean,
Pirates of the Caribbean movie,
I
and
mean, I'm curious about Baywatch,
fucking
but like with a lot of comedies, I always
Snatched.
yeah, well, like that and Baywatch, I feel like a lot of comedy movies. I'm just like, I'd rather watch this at home.
These studio
Yeah,
comedy movies, it's painfully unfunny.
yeah. It's you have to look you have to look and find some of those deep cuts on Netflix where you're like, wow, Jason
Yeah,
Bateman's in all of these movies. So a lot of those are better than these
I
comedies you'll
think
see.
like the lot of the stuff that kind of like makes me laugh are like things that aren't necessarily comedies. Like there are a lot
Hmm.
of like drama movies, or things that are supposed to be not necessarily comedic, that have elements of it that are funny. Like Guardians of the Galaxy has some of like the
Yeah,
best comedy
that's baked
in it.
into it though.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel like yeah, I haven't seen like a standout comedy at the theater in a
They try
while.
too damn hard with them lame ass jokes and all that dumb improv and all that
Yeah,
shit.
it's 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 a dark time for comedy in America. I think people like they haven't found that sweet spot of like some of those classic 70s movies where it's just like you can bond with the characters and laugh and everything. It's like the comedies you see now that like the people have to be pieces of shit or it just has to be
It's
like
always sunny in
some kind of
Philadelphia.
raunchy
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. So
Because that was like the issue with the Baywatch that I've been hearing. It was like they make this movie version of this like straight up this action series from the '90s, and they
yeah,
turned it into this like R-rated comedy that's like this self-aware, ironic, you know, unfunny, movie.
I mean I could see a way that works, but it's just
And
it
the
sounds like
big
they
issue was
didn't
like
get it.
the show was like made for guys, because you had like obviously you had the fucking women with the fucking tits bouncing in like bikinis. This
Yeah,
movie has like The Rock and like Zac Efron with their
yeah. It's like these
abs,
are what women have always wanted from Baywatch, because it's just like I was looking and not to be
which
that
is why it
guy.
bombed at the box office.
Yeah, but it's like not to be that guy, but I was just thinking like
Be that
there's
guy.
there's no like Pamela Anderson equivalent on this cast. It's just like these are all like moderately chested women. I don't see anybody
Yeah,
who's like slow motion run worthy.
one of
Uh,
them very pale and doesn't look like she gets on the beach much, even though she's supposed to be a lifeguard in the movie.
you know, that's
Alexandria Daddario, or whatever her
it's
name
like
is.
some supermodel or something.
From
Uh,
now from she was in the season one of True Detective, and she was in the
okay,
San Andreas movie. And,
all right. So
yeah,
she has history with The Rock. So maybe we'll find out this is
probably.
a
Yeah.
is a sneaky sequel to San Andreas. Maybe the beach splits in half and Rock has to swim across and save everyone. Um, yeah,
I'm just
I mean,
looking forward to Wonder Woman next week. Hopefully, the
Did you
early
ever think you'd
reviews
be
are.
saying that like
I know, right?
months ago? Wonder Woman is my ray of light in this dark movie season. But yeah, so countdown to that. Um, so speaking of superheroes, um, a superhero that we are both familiar with from television, Stephen Amell. Uh, he was on American Ninja Warrior for, I guess, his Red Nose Day. I've heard about Red Nose Day a lot, but I still don't know what it is. It's
It's
some
a
kind of
UK
charity thing.
thing. It's a
Okay.
UK thing that they just started doing on like NBC and
Okay.
a couple of years ago.
So
They're
what
trying to.
charity is this for? Like kids with cancer or what is it?
I believe it's for like children. I don't know what specific cause, but
Yeah, I
it's
know it's something to do with
kid related.
kids. Uh,
Them damn
be-
kids.
because them damn kids. I know it's related to kids because it's surrounding red noses and clowns, which yeah, every kid these days just loves clowns. Um, but yeah, Stephen Amell was on Ninja Warrior uh, for this event, and he pretty much crushed the course, which I'm happy about
Why are
because
you happy?
I like to see people who I have been a fan of do well and prove their toughness, especially like somebody on a show that people might think is for nerds, and his show is not one of the better shows, but like I would say out of all of the people playing superheroes on TV, like Stephen Amell seems to be the one who's done the most work. Like he actually does his own stunts. He does that little salmon ladder thing where you like jump from
Jump,
rung to,
yeah.
which is always impressive. So I feel like that's. I feel like I'm more of a fan of Stephen Amell, the person, than I am of the show that he's on. Like, I was rooting for him in his battle versus Stardust at
On
SummerSlam.
yeah, when he was on Raw, he
Yeah,
was
he
in.
was on Raw. He jumped over the barricade and attacked Stardust. I was always like, oh, don't mess up. I want you to be seen as a legit contender and not just some stupid actor trying to play games. And he had a good showing in his couple of wrestling appearances. So I'm always rooting for him when he does physical stuff. So I'm glad that he conquered the Ninja Warrior Stage 1 course. Um,
Yay!
Yay, Steven. But in other news, in not so happy superhero news, so there was a gunman at Phoenix Comic Con, and he was looking for another superhero, another green superhero for that matter. He's targeting Tommy, the Green Ranger. Uh,
Jason David Frank.
yeah, that's it's a darker side of the
He was at
superhero genre.
C2E2 last month.
Did he um, was he signing autographs for an exorbitant cost?
I'm sure it was the standard going rate for an autograph.
I never
He,
understood paying for autographs. It's just like
I don't
a waste to me. I'd rather have a
exactly.
picture, but I still wouldn't even pay for that. But yeah, so the guy was arrested on Thursday for sneaking into Phoenix Comic Con.
On day one.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I guess if you're going after somebody who, I mean, I don't know what the lineup for this Comic Con was, but I would say like he might be one of the higher profile celebrities at uh, one of these cons. He's probably not going to be there on day one. Uh,
Did you hear like what the when they fucking caught him, like all the shit that he was saying?
no,
Guy
what was
sounds
the
fucking
deal?
crazy. He was apparently like he was talking about like he was like the Punisher or some shit, and
Okay.
he and he had like all those like weapons, and he said that like he had to like fucking kill him or for some weird reason or shit.
That's just weird. I mean, did he at least have the skull T-shirt on? Because if you're
He
gonna
looks
go to,
kind of chubby.
yeah, because if you're gonna go to Comic Con as the Punisher, you have to do the full cosplay, like, because then you could have really fooled some people. It's like, oh, that gun looks really realistic. cool outfit, Frank. And then that person immediately gets his face blown off. But
Yeah, he said that he was the Punisher and that he was aware of that real weapons were banned from the con, but he said the rules didn't apply to him because he's the Punisher.
that's how it works. Um, Frank Castle plays by his own rules. So
He wanted to kill bad police officers, Aphrodite officers, whatever that means.
what the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
They're
Clearly, this
they're
man is
they're they're
insane.
tainted by love, and they commit bad acts because of that. I wonder if this is gonna be maybe this is some sneaky viral marketing for the Netflix Punisher series coming TBD. Uh, because this viral marketing gets crazier and crazier every
Ripped from
year.
the headlines.
Yeah, it's like I have to go to this Comic Con to catch the Kingpin, and he's dressed in
He
a
mentioned
green
it
suit.
on social media that he was going to kill JDF.
Did he mention by initials like that, like going coming for you, JDF? Um, Next JTT, and I can't remember anybody's famous initials, but
He had a vendetta against JDF.
yeah. So um, good on
How
them for catching.
weird, man.
Yeah, very very weird. I would say that social media may be like the best slash worst thing for law enforcement because criminals are being as stupid as they tend to like to brag on social media these days. But also on the on the downward side, we get um, exposed to stuff that we would never see otherwise, like people like the Facebook killer, stuff like that. I feel like there needs to be like more moderation on stuff involving crime and social media, but that seems like it's a hard thing that people haven't really mastered yet. Because I've seen so much stuff on Facebook, I'm like, I know this is not supposed to be
Live
on here.
videos of like fucking, I know, right? Fucking dead bodies and killing people and
Yeah, you see live
uh,
videos of that stuff, and then there's like people
rape.
doing sex shows. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really uh, it's really like the purge out there. If you examine some of this social media and just general media landscape, you would think we were in one of those dystopian movies from the 80s. Like, this is 2016 or 2017. Here's what's going on in the streets. People are filming themselves raping women. So it's like, it's not very far off in some places that is happening. So
Crime time.
enjoy your society, people.
Did you
Uh,
enjoy Crime Time during their time in the WWE, Zach?
Yo yo yo, pop a 40 and check your rollie. It's crime time. Brooklyn, Brooklyn. Like, uh,
Fucking
this is like
offensive
the worst,
stereotype.
the worst stereotype that was ever depicted on television. I mean, maybe besides Akeem, the African Dream. Do you remember that character?
No,
It was this
vaguely.
it was this white dude in a dashiki who talked like a jive talking black American. He was like, "Hey y'all, this is Akeem, the American Dream," and it was the African Dream, and he like danced around like jive walked, but he's wearing this big fat white dude in a dashiki. He's just like really don't understand how that got on television, but
Big
it
fat.
was like the 80s, so people didn't know any better apparently, which I don't take as an excuse, but
He was also one man gang.
oh yeah, it was the same dude. There's a I think there's a famous clip of him running against the ropes. Like I think he tagged with this other big fat white dude, Earthquake, and they were in a tag match where they were gonna do like a double splash at the same time. So they both run at the ropes, and I think one man gang or maybe Earthquake, one of them just completely fell out of the ring. Uh, so it's a classic GIF if you search for one man gang and Earthquake. But yeah,
better. He would have been a better world heavyweight champion than fucking Jinder Mahal.
Yeah. Um, Jinder Mahal. I'll say one thing, and this is kind of early in the show for wrestling talk, but I'll say um, I do not enjoy anything about the Jinder Mahal championship reign, aside from his little coronation ceremony. I feel like those dancers were um, they were the best part of SmackDown this week because they were really getting it in. They did their own little routine to their music, and then like when Jinder came out and his like hip hopped version of Punjabi music played, they like did their own routine to that beat, and they were still sticking with the beat. So I enjoyed that, and then not much else.
Well, what the fuck was it called? Punjabi celebration? Or was it?
Yeah, something like that. I'm gonna speak to my people in my language, Punjabi. And he proceeds to talk to only like a quarter of the Indian population because apparently there's like 23 official languages in India. But you know, the evil doer foreigner talking in another language is evil, and that's always been the formula for WWE. His gimmick is that he's foreign, so he's bad. No wonder Vince McMahon and Donald Trump are such good friends.
Boy, man, both wrestling shows, the Raw and fucking SmackDown, they fucking suck now.
Yeah, they
Since that
really
superstar shakeup,
yeah, it's like they shook everything up and shit the bed at the same time. But
fucking shit everywhere.
yep, all on your TV screen. And I watched NXT for the first time this week in like it's been months, but I watched it only because I had heard that, as I mentioned before, Robert Anthony, Chicago wrestler, made his debut on NXT, but turned out to be not as exciting as I hoped. He was just playing the role of jobber in this match with guy the Velveteen Dream. This is a new character on NXT who's basically a Prince imitation. Um, he's being portrayed by this dude who lost the most recent Tough Enough season. Guy who lost to a meth head, but he got signed anyway, and he's playing this
A
horrible.
meth head?
Yeah, you don't remember the guy who won the last season of Tough Enough? He was this big guy. They called him Thor, but he got released because
Oh, was
he
he
was
like the
on meth.
big? They were trying to fucking make him a thing, but he was a shitty wrestler and like.
Yeah, he won by
Was
not
he like the big
screwing up.
the big bald guy?
No, he had long hair, but he's a big,
Oh,
tall, white dude. But they called him Thor just because he had long hair. But it was funny. They did like a vignette of like, I don't know if it was before he won or I think it was. It may have been right around the time he won. But he was going through his old neighborhood. He was like, every house on this block was a meth lab. Well, except mine. He had to correct himself. It was like, nah,
yeah,
we
correct that.
got you. So yeah, he ended up getting released, and the guy who lost to him is now the. I think he's the only guy from that season of Tough Enough who signed. Maybe that girl Sarah Lee might still be on the roster, but I haven't seen her on Tough Enough. I mean, on NXT or anything. But I just remember Snack Cakes it was like, oh, that girl. But yeah, so
Snack cakes.
yeah, so it turns out that uh, I'll loosely say, friend of mine, Robert Anthony, was only there for one appearance just to be a jobber for this Prince imitator. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's how they
I
treat Chicago talent.
really
Yep, that's what they do.
CM Punk,
I mean,
Aiden English,
is
the
Aiden English from
Road
Chicago?
Warriors. Yeah, he's a Columbia College graduate.
Really? That's
Yes,
interesting.
he was
He
in
put
many
his
stage productions in the theater department.
so his gimmick totally makes sense now. Maybe I'll actually keep the channel turned to SmackDown while he's on screen now. uh, that gives me a new appreciation for him because I was just like, why is this his gimmick? But I guess it's his real life. So
Yeah, he wrestled on the indie scene here.
that's cool.
I looked that up myself.
That's cool. So shout out to Aiden English. I I
now you
I
now
had
you
the
like him.
possibility of running into you at some point, and I wasted it. But yeah,
Are you ready for some Memorial Day 2017 TV marathon news or
sure.
listings?
Yeah, what's being played on Memorial Day?
Well, on A&E, you have your Leah Remini Scientology and the Aftermath marathon
That's
from
perfect for
Monday at
Memorial.
1,
I mean,
Monday at 1 until Tuesday at 4 a.m. They made that many episodes of that shit?
I saw that because I was just thinking like I thought it was just a special or something. And then I
Yeah.
just saw new entries keep popping up on DVR, and just like this is like a show, like I don't understand like what else is there
What
to
more can
say.
she say?
And then this one time, it was just like okay, we understand they sucked. Like if you had this much material on why you left, you should have probably left a long time ago.
I
Um,
watched Tom Cruise and John Travolta fuck each other.
yeah, I would listen to that story. Um, there needs to be
On
illustrations as well.
no problem. On AMC, you have a Better Call Saul marathon.
All right, I can get
Monday
with that.
from Monday from 5 until Tuesday at 12:50 a.m.
It'll take that. I mean, I guess they're playing all three seasons. Okay.
Uh, Animal Planet River Monsters from it started on Friday at 3
None of
o'clock
this
until
stuff
Tuesday at
ties
3
into like
o'clock in the morning.
remembering our lost vets. I don't get.
They
I
died
mean, I
for our
guess.
right to watch this.
I mean, I guess Better Call Saul kind of ties in because he's like a hit with old people and vets included. But Memorial Day is not about vets necessarily. It's people who didn't get to be vets. But you know,
On BBC America, Star Trek Voyager from Monday at 3 a.m. until Tuesday at 3 a.m.
sure, totally appropriate.
Absolutely. On CMT, a Nashville marathon from 9 o'clock Monday morning until eight
Gotta
o'clock in
have
the
that.
evening.
I mean, I would assume those people really, really, really support the troops. So I guess that ties.
I
Um,
guess. On CNBC, Shark Tank marathon, your favorite Monday
that's
morning,
that's not special. If you turn to CNBC on any given day, you'll see a Shark Tank marathon. So there's
or
nothing
my
special.
favorite, my actual favorite, American
Lock up.
Greed.
Oh no. Okay.
Lock
I
up.
wait. No, that's not C. That's
That's MSNBC.
MSNBC. My mistake.
Get your NBC cable channels in order.
That's right.
On CNN, The 60s, Monday from 5 p.m. to Tuesday at 1 a.m.
Do they have any new episodes of that? Because I think I've seen every episode of the '60s, the '70s, and I think the '80s. They didn't. CNN didn't do the '90s, I don't think, but
I don't think
there was
so.
some other channel that did their '90s
The History
recap show,
Channel or what? Yeah.
something something like that. But I like more entries than that because I like to relive other times other than the time we're
You like
living
to
in
live in
right
the
now.
past because your future is so bleak.
Yeah.
The
Uh,
present is awful.
Yeah, I am Savitar, and I cannot see how I succeed because my future has been taken away from me by the former Flash reference.
On Comedy Central, I've actually seen commercials for this. They're running like a fucking Scrubs marathon from Monday morning
I've
until Tuesday morning.
I've never seen Scrubs. It's always one of
Really?
those shows where it's like, oh, people like this, but it doesn't look interesting to me. I,
I
I'm
mean, it is what it is. I wouldn't call it one of the best shows, but the
I might
early
have been
seasons
wrapped
were
into
okay.
okay. I might have been wrapped up in the fact that it's just this the hospital aesthetic is just like, well, my mom used to watch every hospital show that came on TV, so I don't even want to have any part of this one. But it's obviously like a spoof of that type of stuff, but it's still, it didn't hook me.
On the Discovery Channel, I've never seen this show. There's a Street Outlaws marathon from
Street Outlaws.
Monday morning until Monday evening.
Well, it's just them trying to get this show over before they cancel it. That's my prediction. It's like, well, nobody's watching this. Maybe they'll watch it all at once. Good luck with that.
You were talking about marathons that have nothing to do with veterans. Fucking E, of course, is running a Keeping Up with the Kardashians marathon from Sunday morning until Monday at noon. So yeah,
Well, I'm sure after attempting to watch that marathon, you will want to meet the same fate as some of our great men in uniform who we're celebrating on Veterans Day, and you want a bullet in your head. But you know, you got to keep up.
Freeform is running a Harry Potter movies marathon Saturday and Sunday from 7 a.m. to midnight.
Totally appropriate.
Yeah.
You're a wizard,
Family
Harry.
Family Feud marathon on GSN, the game show network, from Monday at 3 until 8 o'clock in the evening.
But the important thing to know is it classic Family Feud or is it Steve Harvey
It's
Family Feud?
the I assume it's the Steve Harvey Family Feud.
Oh,
I
what
don't
about
see any
the
reason why would they show like old episodes of
what
Family Feud.
about my favorite guy who played Al Borland on the Home Improvement? He was
What the hell is it? Richard Karn?
or now even better than him, Louis Anderson. I would say of all the hosts, I'd probably say Louis Anderson was the best because he
John
like hated
O'Hurley.
his life. But
John O'Hurley.
I just really I prefer Louis because it's just like I could see at any moment him just pulling a gun from behind the podium. He's
I
like,
don't even remember.
not for this.
I don't even remember how he hosted. I don't even.
It was really like he hosted like Louis Anderson when I was like, survey says. It's just like he hated that job. I'm sure it just looked like it on his face. Um, that's funny.
America.
Like one thing we're missing nowadays. I feel like you don't get like cartoons anymore with like one person's singular vision. Because I remember Bobby's World and Life with Louie were just like weird cartoons that were seemed like they were more for adults, but
Yeah.
they still appealed to children. Yeah,
It was like these comedians doing their little fucking their stand up acts where they talked about their
yeah,
childhoods and shit and their wacky relatives.
yeah. I feel like that stuff is like people just do that sitcom form now.
You
Um,
remember Wayne Head, the Damon Wayans cartoon that
oh,
was
I completely forgot about that. But yeah, that
Kids
was his version
WB.
of that. Yeah, there was yeah, that was a classic. They did
A
that. That's one
classic.
of those. That's one of those hidden gems that you will see somebody post on Facebook. Like only
He
'90s
had a
kids would
TV.
remember
He had a
this.
cartoon.
Yeah, and then like all the millennials would just be like, "Oh my god, I have to find this. It's so random." But yeah,
The Roseanne cartoon.
was there a Roseanne cartoon?
Yep.
I don't remember that one at all. I need to check that. Was it anything like her show, or was it a different
It was a different
angle?
thing. I think it was on like NBC Saturday morning for like 2 seconds.
That's weird. It was just like, um, as for people who really didn't know their audience, it's just
That,
like,
but that was the height of Roseanne popularity
yeah,
in the
but
early '90s.
like her audience is like fed up housewives. I don't know. Kids were really, I don't know if that Venn diagram ever connected at all. Um, but yeah, it's
Right
interesting.
after right after Wish Kid, starring Macaulay Culkin.
Wish kids. This,
Yeah.
these are some of those like, these some of those projects like you would get with like all those Jim Carrey cartoons. Like this person's hot, give him a cartoon.
Exactly.
But although I did enjoy most of the Jim Carrey
Pro.
cartoons, like the Mask cartoon, Ace Ventura. I think there was a Dumb and Dumber cartoon
Yeah, there was.
also. It's like
All of
it
his '94 to '95 hits.
was like literally all those movies came out in the same year. Just like nobody's had a year like that ever since. I don't think. Maybe The Rock has, but it's just like every year is The Rock's year nowadays.
Pro Stars, starring Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, and Bo Jackson.
I remember that vaguely, but only from one of those. Like that memory was bolstered by one of those only '90s kids remember this post. It was one
I
of those
remember
ones
when it
that I
was
would
out.
have
I watched
completely
it.
forgotten. So what did they do with their? They used their super athletic skills. Did they like solve crimes or what did they
They
do?
were like part of some fucking group where they were like, yeah, exactly. They were like saving the
Saving
world.
the
They had
world
their
by
own.
dunking on people and and shooting goals.
They had their own like fucking aircraft or whatever fucking shit they would
This seems like
press.
I have to
How
revisit
did they
like
have time to do anything
that.
to play sports?
Yeah, that seems like one of those things that they would have parodied on Saturday TV Funhouse on SNL. I had to revisit because I'm sure they've probably taken this shot at that because like all those type of cartoons were the ones they would spoof on there, like Johnny Quest and all those like weird Harlem Globetrotters cartoons,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff.
And it was like the cartoon was made like when Bo Jackson was already starting to like break down and when he had like his hip injury and shit. And
But Bo still knows in this cartoon version of Bo knows everything. Um, yeah,
yeah,
there you go.
there you go.
Old cartoon talk on the Frustrated Grad podcast.
Sure.
That's where I go for my '90s kids cartoon references. That could be our niche. Um, but anyway, speaking of nostalgia and things that only play to people who are old now but were young once and can't let that go, Nintendo is boosting production on the Switch because it seems like
Doing good apparently.
it's a hot property. I like from the announcement of the Switch, I thought it was dinky and gimmicky, but I still figured it would sell pretty well because that's like this seems to be Nintendo's wheelhouse. It's like we're underpowered. We are missing a lot of features that all of our competitors have, but we at the properties and we won't let those go. So that still appeals to a lot of people most of the time. And they'll usually have those couple of launch titles that people really want, except for this time they have like one and then one that's way off in the distance. I guess the Super Mario Odyssey is closer now. It's what December is the release date for it.
Hmm.
But yeah, so people still buying it. Maybe they've come out with some other stuff. I haven't been watching the Switch releases, but it would appeal to me.
Wee.
It would appeal to me to have a game on the go. I just wish it had longer than like 3 hours battery life. That doesn't sound very appealing.
I still don't feel like investing in a thing, despite how great Zelda Breath of the Wind apparently is. I still don't think it's
But
worth it.
but it's on your skin. Like you have to like if there was a guy, I mean I'm not sure there's one out there, but if there's a guy out there who has the Apple logo tattooed on his skin, you think he won't get the iPhone 8? You gotta live up to the lifestyle. You're the Nintendo dude.
Hey, this free advertising, they better give it to me for free.
Oh yeah, you should really hit them up about that. That's probably a thing that can happen. You just seen the guy who got like free nuggets for a year just
That
because he
dumbass.
tweeted about it.
Now he tweeted them like how many retweets,
Yeah,
no,
for
how many
free.
likes or something,
Yeah, something like that.
and they said they threw out like some random number like 18 million.
Yeah, and then he
It
got it. It's like the most likes or most retweets or whatever
yeah,
in Twitter history just because of this guy being a troll. Uh,
exactly. All these people helping this fucking loser
yeah, so just
get these.
so just cock your leg up on a table and tweet at Nintendo how many likes for free games for life. Um, that'd be some good viral marketing for the podcast also. Get on it. I'm just saying,
No.
if I had a copywritten logo on my body, I would be whoring that out. Maybe that says more about my values than anything else. But
I got
you
this
know,
tattoo. Gimme, gimme, gimme.
yeah, like you're advertising a company that you're not there that is neither supporting you nor are you supporting them by buying their latest product. So you need to mend this relationship uh, quickly
Ain't that America?
for you and me. Home of the free. Yeah. All right. So I found this other story about fun board games based on real disasters. Maybe some of these can be adapted.
The
Um,
Hindenburg game.
yeah.
All of humanity.
Hungry, hungry Hindenburgs. You have to You have to catch all the red balls, and then the loser his blimp explodes. That's
And he burns to death.
yeah. Oh, the humanity for kids. Um, I never knew the rules to Hungry Hungry Hippos. I originally thought it was that you
Whoever
had to.
gets the most fucking
I thought it was
balls.
whoever ate the most balls, but it turns out it's actually only whoever gets the white ball. Like there's this one ball that is really the target, and if you get that one and don't get any others, you win. So it's a hidden fact about Hungry Hungry
You,
Hippos there.
you have to eat all the balls.
Yep. I mean that's I mean when you think about board games, they're really analogs for life, and that's like the perfect analog. Like if you want to survive in this world, you have to eat a lot of balls. So stay hungry, my friends.
Yeah.
um,
Boy,
apparently,
that new Dos Equis most interesting man guy. He's really
didn't that guy
got
like
some.
fly off into space and to never return? Didn't they retire that character?
I think he just got old and just didn't want to do it anymore.
He stopped being interesting.
Yeah.
Um, they need to bring Chuck Norris on to replace him. Apparently, there's a climate change game, which is
Really?
yeah. Um, yeah, so originally it was a German game. So the players try to advance their own economic interests while having to face down strong anti regulation lobby groups like the oil industry, as well as environmental activists who push players to work toward a stable global climate. So that sounds
Boy,
like a riveting,
kids
fun
will be all
filled.
over this.
It's a fun filled game. There's a game called Wildfire. It's a cooperative wildfire fighting game. Uh, I guess the game is called Hot Shots, but it's about fighting wildfires. So uh, I don't know how what like little pieces come in this box, but I would say that beware of fire hazards when you're playing this game because uh, it can get pretty hot. There's a disease outbreak game, Pandemic Legacy.
Diseased outbreak game.
Yeah, that seems like it could be fun. I don't know the rules of it, but maybe you have to infect your other players, uh, which could be fun. Oil spill is also another.
AIDS the game.
Yeah, uh, nuclear war and oil spill. Two other games based on real tragedies, and yeah, I feel like these are just ripe for like a Nintendo adaptation. Like I could picture something like Splatoon, but you're just spraying oil all over the ocean. You're trying to cover as many seagulls and aquatic fish as you can with oil. So Nintendo, get on that. Uh,
Hey, I have a question. Are you is Big Brother UK still on? Are you up to
yeah,
date on that?
yeah. I've watched. I think I've watched all of the UK Big Brother seasons since like at least the past 6 years.
Have
Uh,
they started up the most recent one?
No, they're. I think they're still just showing previews for it, and it starts sometime mid-June. And this one will be the civilian version of Big Brother because they like alternate like civilian, celebrity, civilian,
Celebrities.
celebrity.
Nobodies.
Yeah, they do two celebrity Big Brother seasons a year, and somehow between those two seasons, you'll get zero celebrities. It's like a couple of people from like British reality shows and like a lot of other like people like oh this guy is famous because he's been a TV presenter is what they called him over there. He's been a TV presenter for 40 years. You have no idea who he is, but apparently old British people love him. And I found out the formula for winning Big Brother UK or Celebrity Big Brother is to be old, gay, or transgendered. And if you're all of the above, then you might as well just sign that check right now. Uh, yeah, that's the ticket of winning Big Brother UK.
That sounds wonderful. Are
Yes,
there any? Are there any like gimmicks for the upcoming season, or they haven't announced?
I heard there's supposed to be some kind of international theme to it, so I'm assuming like the fun idea behind that would be like if they actually collaborated with the other Big Brother shows in other countries and got contestants from those different shows. But I think they just mean there's going to be people from other countries. Like they've had that before. Like whenever there's an American on Big Brother UK, they are pretty much mercilessly bullied, and everybody is just fine with that. It's just like, yeah, fuck Americans. Just like, wow,
Wow.
we're really not beyond that. There's just like really like some people say that British people are supposed to be more civilized, but I would say they're some of the meanest people. Like if you of English speaking countries, British people like talk the most shit, and it seems like their media is like meaner. Like I don't know what their version of
Their
TMZ is.
paparazzi, yeah,
Yeah,
is just they're much more. I mean,
yeah,
bloodthirstier.
yeah. They're like, oh, this person. Here's a photo of this person with a needle sticking out of their arm. A million views.
Their tabloids, the
Yeah,
Sun and like the Daily Mirror and shit.
yeah. It's like, check out this celebrity ODing right in the street, and we watched and didn't do anything. Like, that's great. The worse downfall their celebrities have, the better. Because like every season of Celebrity Big Brother is just like, I was at my worst, and it was all over the tabloids. Now I'm here to recoup my image. It's just like, well, this is like how do they have so many versions of this story? It just seems to be part of their culture. And another show I watch from the UK is Gogglebox. Uh, it's
Hmm.
just a show of people, regular British people watching TV and their reactions to it. And you see some of the anger and vitriol come out on that show as well. It's just like, wow, these people have some opinion. But it reminds me of, have you been watching, or have you ever watched that Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
I saw season one.
Okay. I feel like season two, it's good too, but it's a little bit of a downgrade from season one. But I feel like season three is uh, is is one of their better ones so far.
How many
It
episodes in are you in season three? 'Cause I know it just
it's
premiered
either
like a
three,
week ago
it's either
or so.
three or four that I'm on. It's
I
like
know, like, there's a lot of like Donald Trump America jokes.
I don't think I've really gotten to that yet, but one thing I did like was one character Titus on there. He was taking this job of singing like background vocals for this random dude who picked up like he had a profile on TaskRabbit, which I didn't know was still a thing. I don't know if it is or not, but he had a profile on TaskRabbit, and this guy hires him to be a singer. And like realized all these songs are just like filled with these horrible opinions. It's like Hillary did 9/11. It's just like all these, it's like random conspiracy theories, and all you hear is just you only hear his side of it. So it's just like he's doing like ad libs on songs. Like you can only imagine how horrible the rest of the song is, but it's really funny montage of that. It just makes me think of some of the garbage you find on the internet these days. A lot of conspiracy theories about uh, pizza, uh, pedophile rings, and things like that.
Hey, I just remember. Did you see the Game of Thrones trailer that dropped?
I'm
I
pretty sure
guess
I've
last week.
seen a reaction video for it, but I cannot remember anything that happened in the trailer. I know it was really quick clips. I know there was a clip of I can't remember her name, but Theon Greyjoy's sister
Hmm.
making out with some woman, and I think it turns out to be um, one of the sand snakes. Like if you don't watch Game of Thrones, it doesn't mean anything. But she was basically the lover of the Oberyn Martell, who gets his fucking brain smashed in by the mountain.
by the mountain.
Yeah, so I think she's making out with Theon Greyjoy's sister, which means there's some
See,
kind of alliance, ladies' alliance there.
all this stuff that you're talking about, I didn't see it, so because I want to be surprised when I watch the fucking show. I don't want to watch all these damn trailers and
Yeah, that's one of
fucking
the things that I like.
yeah,
One of the things I normally try to stay away from, but I was just so excited that a trailer had came out because I didn't hear anything
actual
about it
images for
beforehand.
the season. Because although
Yeah,
the other stuff that had been coming up before was nothing but like voiceovers from like stuff from past
winter is
seasons, and
here. Yeah,
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 there was nothing new.
yeah. So I don't know if there were a lot of spoilers in there, but I have to say that's the biggest one. Although it's very easy to be missed. I only noticed it because like the guys was watching recap. It just like froze on that image. I was like, oh, now I see who those people are. I would have not known at all. But yeah, it seems to be going down this season. I don't know. Is this the last season of Game of Thrones?
They're doing like a fucking split thing. Where
Ah,
I think this is like gonna be like 5 or 6 episodes, and
and then they're gonna
next
take a
year,
break.
and yeah,
Yeah, great.
they're like real short.
Okay. Hopefully, there's some kind of mid-season finale so that we're just not hanging on thread over Christmas.
And apparently, like these episodes, like shit gets like accelerated at a much more faster pace than
I mean, they
prior
have to
seasons.
because like we've been watching Daenerys travel toward Westeros for years. It's just like let's take a break here. Like no, hop on that dragon and fly. It shouldn't like some people can get from one area of Westeros to the other in like minutes, and then it's taking her years to travel to King's Landing. So I'm ready for that to really go down. I think you see, to avoid spoilers, there's a lot of stuff that people have been waiting for that I think may be finally happening. So there's that. It's funny that didn't come out like. I guess it was smart that it didn't come out when like every other TV trailer in the world came out last week because it gets to stand on its own. But that also,
With its own 2 legs.
yeah, with its own two scaly legs and dragon arms. It's weird. Like I was fixated on the dragon design on Game of Thrones for a while because like I've seen some versions of dragons where they have 4 legs and then they also have wings. But I think the Game of Thrones dragons, they only have 2 back legs and their wings are their like arms and they just crawl on those. I just thought that was an interesting, different design.
All right.
Dragon talk. And for mythical creatures, it's important how you design them. So I focus on stuff like that because, you know, I'm weird like that. Anyways, in more TV news, uh, you saw a trailer for a Michael Jackson Lifetime movie. Um,
Yeah, I saw the commercials that have been running on Lifetime. Don't ask me why I'm watching Lifetime. Gotta get my Grey's
hmm.
Anatomy repeats, and
Oh, is that what they're playing on there now? Uh,
I guess
I think the only thing I've ever watched on Lifetime. I'm trying to think. Well,
Supermarket
I
Sweep.
watched the. Oh, is that so long? I watched
No,
the
that back in the day.
Aaliyah documentary. Was that a Lifetime one? It was one of those horrible casting choices, and that's become what Lifetime is known for now. Like, let's do a biopic where nobody signed off, and we're gonna do the worst casting job possible. So I'm looking at like screenshots of this person on here. I guess it looks slightly more like Michael Jackson than the Rafe Fiennes debacle,
I guess.
but looks more like an Asian woman. Which,
That's authentic.
yeah,
That's the look. The Michael Jackson look.
I mean, nobody's gotten the nose right. That's the problem. It's just, you got to have that like bony tip with the sharpness and the like kind of coked out looking nostrils. It's a
It
very
has
specific look.
it has to be a Caucasian woman.
Yeah, a Caucasian woman who's had some work done, who has a butt chin. Uh, and you got to get the wig just right. That's
Got to get the wig just right.
yeah. Uh, that's a contender for a show title. Got to get the wig just right. Anyway, as another movie that I won't be watching. Apparently, there's also a Netflix movie in the works about Michael Jackson, and it seems like nobody has signed off on this one as well. As they're saying on TMZ that these could both face lawsuits, depending on which way the tug
Hmm.
of war goes. Which Jackson family member wants to represent the estate at any given moment? Um, Jackson family seems to really be a piece of shit.
Yes, they
Like,
are. Yes, they are.
just like the worst. Uh, it's weird because
How
I,
many of them actually have talent? Is the big question. The
uh,
easy answer, as we all know.
I mean, the answer now is zero because Michael's dead. Um,
Janet Jackson.
I mean, yeah, there's Janet, of course. I feel like she at least reached a level where it was just like I didn't look at her as a Jackson with her music. It's just like, yeah, she's Janet.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
it's so weird that watching that Jackson's the American Dream, like even though it's based on a true story, like watching that movie, you just want to get to that emotional climax where they break away from their dad and just like fuck you, Joe, and they walk away.
Exactly.
But it's just like that never happened. Like
Nope.
this is one of those stories of like, oh, this is the obvious. He's the obvious villain, and then this all falls apart, and he's left alone, penniless, and he ODs in some apartment somewhere. It's just like, no, it didn't happen.
Nope.
Like this is what
Nope.
real life looks like: horrible, depressing, shitty real life. This is what a real family looks like. So, yeah,
Fucking Angela Bassett as the the mother.
yeah, um, strong, independent woman who gets beat for
Strong,
decades.
independent.
I was just saying, like,
Okay. Oh,
would
you're just joking.
the real,
Oh, okay.
like, you would picture this is what Angela Bassett would be playing. It's just like, nah, it's just this woman just gets beat by her husband for decades, and then she goes on to be ignored by her kids, and then she abuses her grandkids, and then they fight over the money, and the grandkids pretty much go off the deep end themselves, and there you go.
Freddie Boom Boom Washington.
Who was he?
The father, he was Joe Jackson
Freddie Boom Boom Washington. I don't even
from
know if I could
from
recognize him.
Welcome Back, Carter.
Oh,
From
oh
Welcome Back,
yeah, that's
Carter
the dude with
in a
the big mustache.
Coolie High.
All right, there you go. Nice bit of trivia for what is that an only '70s kids reference now? Uh, but yeah, I
Filmed
just
in
remember.
Chicago.
Yeah, I
Coolie
just
High.
remember Jason Weaver played young Michael, and I thought he was gonna be a real star because he did a
He could sing. He was a young Simba.
yeah he did a song with Chingy, and I think that was his only like foray into real music. Like I'm only one call away. But yeah, Jason
He's
Weaver,
a
where you
smart
at?
guy.
Yeah, was he on that show? I just remember Taj,
He was
the
like the dumb brother.
the Maori triplet starred show.
Do you watch that dumbass show, The Real? The talk show with
I've
fucking.
seen maybe like 5 minutes of an episode. All I know about it is like uh, I saw a little bit about the inception of it when I was being forced to watch Braxton Family Values.
You were being
Yeah,
forced to watch it by.
yeah, by my wife, and we finally we finally decided
Kill
to
yourself.
no, we decided to part ways on that show, so she watches that on her own, which I'm very thankful for. And like I
Compromise.
I've been
Marriage
I've
is
been
compromised.
yeah, I've been emancipated from all of the Housewives franchises and Braxton Family Associates shows. So I'm
Hey,
very
there's a
thankful for that.
Ti and Tiny the Family Hustle marathon
I
on
actually did
VH1.
used to watch the. I watched the Family Hustle probably for a season. Then I realized
Why?
like this guy's a fucking
Why?
hypocrite because it seemed like it seemed like a
This guy's a
nice
fucking piece of
family.
shit.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, this is completely fake. This dude is an asshole, and
Been
he
in jail.
apparently like trying to have a semi open marriage with his wife where the
Get the
openness was
fuck out
him
of here.
getting to fuck other women and his wife getting probably beat when she even flirted with Floyd Mayweather. So I realized that part of the story was not being depicted on the show. It was just like, I'm gonna tune out. Plus, there's no family to hustle anymore. They're broken up.
Star of Marvel's the Ant Man.
Star. If you want to give him credit as star, then I would say Dave Desmalchin was the real star. Chicago actor who played the. I don't know what nationality he was supposed to be, but he was the. I think he played Russian in Ant Man. But I've literally seen him in like every superhero show on television. Like he had a decent role where he was kind of the origin story for Joker in Gotham. Uh, while at the same time he was also in previously in the Dark Knight as one of the Joker's goons. So he's like in the DC universe like three times. Uh, he was on Flash recently, and I believe he's been in one of the Marvel shows. I'm trying to remember. He might have just been in Ant Man, but he's been in the DC universe three times and in the Marvel universe once. So pretty good for Dave Desmalchin.
So what are like those fucking shitty hip hop reality shows that come on VH1? Is the
Love and Hip Hop, um,
I haven't
Atlanta
watched
and Hollywood.
a single episode of any of those fucking shows.
Yeah. Um, no, I've never watched them. I haven't had VH1 in a while, so uh, maybe that's why. Although I wouldn't watch them anyway. That's one of those other ones I've been emancipated from. It's just like I'll
Love and
hear
Hip Hop
I'll hear
Atlanta.
about it in passing. It's just like, oh, this is what happened on Love and Hip Hop. It's like, great, I'm good for the year.
Okay, so what is what is the show where it's like the fucking gold digging whores that are married to the athletes?
Wags.
They're wags.
I'm ashamed that I know that, but I've heard that title like wives and girlfriends of I don't know what the S is for, but like
And
it's
was this
basically athletes.
was this the same one that had Kelly Kelly on it, or am I thinking of something else?
I have
That was
no
the
idea.
VH1 one, right?
My knowledge stops at titles. um,
Okay.
yeah, it's funny they finally left the opening for people who are not wives because like a lot of these Real Housewives shows are filled with people who
Girlfriends.
are not married to
They were
anybody.
like barely with him for like a second. Like I think like Cordell Stewart's fucking wife or something was on one of these fucking shows.
Yeah, it's just like they're really stretching for the like the housewife title on a lot of these shows, so they have to
You
just
have to
take
be
that out.
married.
Yeah, so like love in hip hop instead of, I guess that works. It would probably be more appropriate to say love and baby mamas or lust in hip hop or something like that. But you know,
Side chick.
yeah, side chick in hip hop. Again, they should just call themselves second ladies because I feel like that's a better title for side chick, and then you could be associated with um, being the wife of the vice president because I feel like it's a terrible title for her, but it's an upgrade for side chicks around the world.
And the fucking Real Husbands of Hollywood, that's the parody one with
Yeah,
Kevin Hart.
I felt like that one it that was the best thing to come out of all of this garbage reality TV. But then that show started to fall off the rails after a while too. When
Do
Robin Thicke
explain.
left, yeah,
Explain when the quality waned of this
they
hilarious show.
they jumped the shark when Robin Thicke turned into Terry Crews. Like he literally like that was the storyline. Like Robin Thicke, like his incredible Hulk powers that when he gets angry, he turns into Terry Crews, who is actually referred to as Terry Crews, not like hulked out Robin Thicke. It's just like, oh, these are two famous people, but they are the same person for some reason. The show doesn't make any sense. Um, but yeah, so That's that's my Real Husbands of Hollywood review. Anyway, with that, is there anything you wanted to touch on before we wrapped up for this week of podcasting randomness?
There's a Cresley Knows Best marathon on USA Monday from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Oh, here's a question for you and everyone out there listening. Who is your favorite Chrisley?
The gay father.
That would be Todd. That's the most that's the most common answer. My answer is Nanny Faye. It's
Why?
because she's trying to get the D on a daily basis. So you gotta appreciate a grandma who's
Who the fuck
who's
are these
hungry for
people, and why the fuck should
schlong.
anybody care about
I have
who
no
these?
idea. Like he didn't even have Todd Chrisley didn't even have a Wikipedia page for a long time, and then when his page was finally created, it just said Todd Chrisley is a man famous from the show Chrisley Knows Best. It's like, why does he have the show? Like, and the only thing I've learned about him in the
He's like a real estate person or
I
some shit.
guess,
Or
and he's been famously accused of sexually harassing his male employees. And
exactly.
one of his estranged sons, I think, is not featured on the show. Kind of corroborated these stories. Like my dad is gay, and this is all a front.
Because he
So
sounds gay
that
as
makes
shit.
it makes a lot of sense. You look at his heavily botoxed and cut open
He looks
face,
weird. I don't know.
and hear his folksy gay colloquialisms, then you'll probably be on board with that theory as well. So there you
Yeah.
go.
And there's a Golden Girls marathon on TV Land Monday from 2 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Speaking of the gays, why do gay people love the Golden Girls so much? That's
Golden Girls
a
are
question for
awesome.
the ages. I mean, I guess that's the easy look to attain when you're dressing in drag. It's just like they look mannish anyway, so I could just put on a white wig and I could be Blanche. Or which Golden
Rose,
Girl are you?
Devereaux.
I'm
I would say I don't want to be any of them.
I think I'm more of a
Do I
Sophia
have to
man
choose?
myself. Sophia was the Betty White one, right?
But she was so old.
Yeah, that's me. This is exactly me. I have my hair is almost her color as well. It's like it's very quickly approaching that Betty White color, and I'm
And Rose is like
not very happy.
retarded and fucking
Wait, that was Betty White's character.
no,
Wasn't she
yeah,
the
yeah,
slow one? Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And Blanche is a slut,
yeah. It's
and
just
she's like fucking Southern.
yeah. It's just funny that this like it was like the archetype for Sex in the City, and I don't think they get enough credit for that because everybody wants to
But
know which Golden Girl they were. Now they ask which Sex in the City girl are you?
the only difference is that Golden Girls was funny.
Yeah, and there was no like jizz on the face shot in any of those episodes, at least that I can remember. I
Yeah.
would assume if any cream gets sprayed on their faces, it would have been like, uh,
Their own feces, the diapers.
no, I would assume it's some kind of ointment for joint pain. But with that, I will wrap up this episode of the Frustrated Grad Podcast. Where can people reach out to you on social media with their ointment picks?
Ointment pics.
Yeah.
They're been gay. At Anthony Hoffman on Twitter, Anthony Hoffman on Facebook and Instagram. Name thingy is Tony Hoffman Shy, Tony Hoffman CHI.
All right. And I am on Twitter doing the tweets at Zach from Chicago. That's ZAC from Chicago. I am on YouTube at youtube.com/Zach Hughes. If you want to friend me on Facebook, I'm facebook.com/Zach Hughes. But tell me who you are because I don't just let strangers be my friend. That's their fans of the podcast. And you can follow the podcast on Twitter at FrustratedGrad. Find us on YouTube where you can see the video version of this podcast on youtube.com/frustratedgrads. And check out and you can check out the audio version of the podcast on iTunes, Google Play Podcasts, and wherever podcasts are sold, as well as frustratedgrad.com. So if you like the show, hit us up on iTunes, give us a 5-star review. and tell us which golden girl you are. And if you really, really like what we're doing, go to frustratedgrad.com and donate by clicking the PayPal button. So, with that, I will say that's it for this episode of the Frustrated Grad podcast. Thanks for watching. If you're watching, thanks for listening. If you're listening, and that's all you get for today.